Peace, peace, and more peace, familia. Y'all know what it is. You know what it ain't. You know the vibes. You know the counter. At least you Errion, I lead the God body MC. You know what I'm saying? Inshallah, we going to get the people a few minutes. You know what I'm saying? Brief moment to tap in while we get elevated and situated and such and such and so and so. You know how it go. Yeah, man. We had some technical difficulties last week. Let's see if they let us be great this week. Y'all know how it go, bro. We about to open in prayer. Don't worry about nothing. Bear with me. We buffering already. Y'all know how that go. All right, we're going to open with Al-Fatiha. Prayer. Kul a'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone we serve, and thine aid we seek. Ya Allah, guide us on your straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favors, not the path of those upon whom your wrath is brought down, nor the way of those who go astray after they have heard thy teachings. Ameen. Mashallah, subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, man, y'all know what it is. Like I said, we getting started. Before we get started, let me say, inshallah, y'all can hear me as I step away just briefly, but I ain't went nowhere far. If you've been following, you know what I'm saying, every time it's been a holiday, whether it was Mother's Day, whether it was Memorial Day, whether it was Father's Day, or whether it was the 4th of July, right? The video's been glitching. You know what I'm saying? We've been having a lot of technical difficulties, and there'd be other videos where it happened as well. But I just wanted to be known, you know what I'm saying? They be out here talking about they shadow ban. Peace, familia. Peace to everybody that's going to check in, tap in, you know what I'm saying? Drop your comments. You already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? You can let me know where you at in the building. You already know we in Thieveland, Ohio, representing to the fullest. Peace, 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 familia. I appreciate the love. But yeah, man, we've been having a lot of technical difficulties. You feel me? So bear with me. Inshallah, that will not be the case today. But either way, we going to say what we say. And in the name of Allah, they're going to have to accept the fact that he made us great because he is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. So yeah, without further ado, you know what I came to do. IT, the it factor. You feel me? So while we get started, I'm going to go ahead. You know how I do it. Play the music, you know what I'm saying, and get it going. You know what I mean? Peace to the familia. Like I said, y'all see the subject, so y'all know what it is. If y'all been tuned in with me, y'all know that not long ago, you feel me? Not long ago, the feedback and all of that. But yeah, it's part 2, and it gets greater later. So let's be very clear about what is and what's not. Again, peace, familia. Y'all know what we came to do. Black Dollar Entertainment in the building. You know, AKA Mr. Anti-Recidivism is really where it's at. If you know, you know, straight like that, all facts. We're going to start from the beginning. Inshallah, like I said, they let us be great. So yeah, if you know like I know, you know that the whole reason that the penal system came into play is because of slavery. The same reason why the police institution, law enforcement came into play. It was all about maintaining their property. They meaning the dominant society, right? And the Irish, who were not considered, you know, honorary white people at the time, They were kind of on the low end of the totem pole. They gave the Irish man the police, right? That's where the term Irish wit come from. For all of those that watch wrestling or used to back in the day. The Irish wit represented the overseer. You know what I'm saying? The low level, quote unquote, the poor trash, quote unquote, white folks that were put in position to catch runaway slaves, to bring black people who were the property, you know what I mean, where we were being treated as animals, had to sleep outside with the cattle, literally. You know what I mean? In a lot of cases, treated even worse. The abolishment or the abolition of slavery, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Now you have segregation. So under segregation, we were treated worse than third-class citizens. If you know, you know. We're going to become more modern briefly, but you know what I mean? Bear with me. You know how it go. You know what I'm saying? You got to heat up the stove and let it preheat, baby. We about to cook today. All praises due to Allah. So yeah, with that being the case, once segregation was implemented, the police were even more dutiful and duty-bound to the dominant society, to local and state government. So now we were being heckled, harassed. Everything you did was a crime. Let me give you an example. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a gentleman who was literally lynched, right? And it was co-signed by the law. No one was there to stop it. No one objected to this man getting lynched. Why did this man get lynched? Because he paid his utilities, and this black man had the nerve, the audacity to ask the white person that was, you know, at the register or wherever he was paying his utilities. The black man asked for a receipt. They charged this black man with, quote unquote, acting white, which was a crime according to their law. And they lynched this man because he paid his bill. Imagine paying your electric bill and you say, can I get peace, peace, peace? To Seven Johnson, to Micah Cardinal, to everybody that's going to pop in, you know what I'm saying, and show love. Everybody that's going to catch it on the live, everybody that's going to catch it on the playback. Y'all know the vibes. But yeah, this is what we was up against, Black America. So this being a monstrous ordeal, this being an abomination, this being a crime against them, if you know the penal system, if you know the law, then you know that you're going to go from jail to prison. So then they start opening all of these prisons all over. We're the minority in the country, but ever since they established the penal system, we've been the majority that get incarcerated, that get charged and wrongfully accused. We're the main ones whose convictions were proved. Pardon me for a second. So the phone, I'm getting notification. You got to make sure, you know what I'm saying? We on point. Bear with me, beloved. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know the count. Y'all know how this goes. Real live. Gotta handle my business. Don't let it handle me. You feel me? So yeah, like I was saying, you know what I mean? All of these prisons were opened up. All of these penitentiaries were opened up. We were the main occupants. There was no vacancy. From the time they conceived the idea of the penitentiary, black men in particular have been the most incarcerated, the most wrongfully accused, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward from segregation, you know they tricked us off the streets with integration, but yet we were still segregated. Now we just had the right to spend our money with them, because if we spend our money with them, then we won't allow the dollar to circulate and permeate through our community, meaning our businesses, our schools, our churches, everything that we built, you know what I mean, off the sweat of our brow will come crumbling and tumbling down. Meanwhile, their infrastructure of white supremacy will continue to grow and flourish, because now we are still cannon fodder for their cannon, you know what I'm saying, for the cannonball. So yeah, fast forward to integration, ain't no change, you know what I mean? Then they implemented welfare, brought through, you know, the narcotics that have ravished and pillaged the village. I mean, literally set us asunder. You know what I mean? We had to deal with all of that. We had to deal with the likes of that. So in the midst of that, now you have welfare programs. Now you have government assistance. Now you have people getting strung out, mainly men, a deadly vice that we couldn't kick. We were getting incarcerated the same way, 100 miles an hour. Meanwhile, you could be a Caucasian and get a way lighter sentence. You could go to rehab. You could get caught with more, but do less time. Fast forward to the late 80s, early 90s. Black culture was on the rise. We were trying to do our thing with hip hop culture, you know what I mean? And black independence, black greatness, black excellence, right? At this time, you had rappers like Public Enemy, Brand Nubian, Grand Poobah, you know what I'm saying? The EPMDs of the world. You had The Message by Melly Mel. You know what I mean? I could go on and on and on about the positive hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You had DOS Effects in the 90s. You know what I mean? I could go on and on and on. The Rakim Laws. You know what I mean? The KRS-Ones of the world. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. Hip hop as an acronym meant and still means today, higher infinite power healing our people. Let me say that again. HIPHOP. Higher infinite power healing our people. That's the original terminology and definition and acronym for this thing of ours that we call hip hop, right? So what happened? While we were doing our thing, engaging in hip hop culture, which is really a subculture because our true culture was taken from us, our name, our land, our language, our religion, hip hop artists and rappers make today, but the culture was pure. Anybody couldn't just come through the gate. Our culture was like a beautiful angelic virgin as opposed to the prostitute that it has become today. Because they selling their mamas out for dollar signs today. And then going on stage talking about they sold to the devil. It was a crappy deal, but at least it came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. And white folks will make them billions of dollars. As long as you play the fool, as long as you be a good little Pinocchio for Geppetto, as long as you represent that carrot that we dangle in front of the rabbit, as long as you represent on your brothers and sisters' neck, you could be a rich nigga. So what happened? Culturally, white America and corporate America was like, oh no, we can't let these young black folks just run wild. They're gonna take over the world, which we did anyway. Hip hop culture is the language of the world today, whether the black man is persona non grata or not. Where you learn how to walk like that, talk like that, dress like that, fight like that, stand up for your rights like that. It came from me and my people. Let's not get this confused. So to fast forward and become more modern, what happened? There was a conversation that happened between the record labels and the privatized prisons. Let me say that again. There was a conversation that happened between the record labels and the prison owners where the government decided we're going to allow these prisons to become privatized. And upon them being privatized, that means anybody could buy it, anybody could own it. Anybody can invest in prisons on the stock market. Anybody could do it. And we're going to do this as a way to steer the youth in the direction that we need them to go in. They need us to be unproductive. They need us to be counterproductive. They needed us to be self-destructive and still do. They needed to flood the community with drugs and guns. They needed to trump up charges on everybody. They needed to implement the 3-strike rule. Your illustrious Democrats. You know what I mean? Sillery, Billary, Hillary Clinton in there. You feel me? Joe Biden, who said that he didn't want his son, a young white man, going to school with black children. He didn't want his son going to school with jungle bunnies, jungle animals. But his son grew up to be a whole drug addict. Oh, the irony in that. When you put some thought into it, it's almost funny. But drug abuse ain't never funny, no matter who, you know what I mean, is involved or affected. But it's just ironic that he put that on us, and then his son getting caught with cocaine in the White House. See, God don't make no mistakes. Anyway, fast forward, moving on. Forwards ever, backwards never. Let's keep the motion, you feel me, going, right? Privatized prisons are implemented. What then happened? The record label says, well, we need to change the content and the message in the music. No more The Message by Melly Mel. No more self-destruction. No more healthy collaborations. No more UNITY by Queen Latifah. No more none of that. We're going to change the message. Enter NWA, enter gangster rap, a lot of the West Coast artists and a lot of the East Coast artists too. Enter the Midwest, enter the South. And here we are today. So now you got labels that won't sign artists with a positive message. And if you do have a positive message, you better not be telling your people to fight back in your positive message. You better be a good little victim. You better be the example of how these other black people need to act. You could get Pulitzer Prizes and whatnot. If you ain't called anti-this, anti-that, anti-Semitic, anti-gay, anti-white, anti-black, anti-immigrant, anti-women, they ain't calling you no misogynist, bro, if the government ain't on your heels, you are not the voice of the culture. You are on the people's payroll. And that's all of the positive rappers that we have today that are conscious. They got some goofiness with them. They out here wearing choker chains and more madness. That was never a part of my culture. Hip hop always embodied masculinity. Even the female rappers was tough. And when they jumped into their ladylike bag, they was the most beautiful. We know the culture. We know what this is. So let's take it from MC Lyte and Queen Latifah to Foxy Brown and Lil' Kim. Let's criminalize you get stripes if you go to prison. Let's make this the culture and the order of the day. That's what we've seen, and that's what we're seeing today, even to this very point. You feel me? Even at this very moment, that's what's going on. So yeah, the government, the record labels, the privatized prisons got together and said, look, we got to steer them in a certain direction. So every artist you sign, this need to be their message. Fast forward, it went from being a drug dealer to now everybody's strung out. Push me to the edge, all my friends are dead. That's the vibes now. It went from you can't knock the hustle to these rappers sounding like they need to go to the closest rehab center or something. The culture devolving so that twos and fews and the you-know-whos could get monetary gain at the rest of our expense. Debauchery is the order of the day. You can't even make love songs that say you love your spouse. You know what I'm saying? You can't even have a healthy, happy marriage and that be what we doing. You got to have some madness with you. You got to have some sickness permeate, right? Going out of their way to catch cases. Going out of their way to be in the way. Going out of their way to be in the streets. And if you wasn't willing to play their game, then you wasn't gonna get paid. Tupac Shakur went from, they got me trapped, to Thug Life Across the Belly. He went from the young man who was a bright student at the Baltimore School for the Arts, son of the Black Panthers, to now it's Thug Life, gang banging, running with Bloods and Crips. He always kept his revolutionary spirit. That's why in Atlanta, he had that shootout with them off-duty cops who was trying to violate a black man. So y'all see how it is. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is, folks. We having technical difficulties. You feel me? But fret not, because they can't stop this ism. They can't stop this greatness, the gift that keeps on giving. Black Dollar Entertainment is us against the Matrix. I am Black Neo. That's really though. So anyway, back to the point I was making before these small hats so rudely interrupt me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. I was saying that they had to implement ways to cripple the culture, to get young people to throw rocks at the penitentiary, to get us off of the streets. That's why even though crime goes down, violent crime goes down, prisons are fully populated, full vacancy, full occupancy. There's no vacancy, not full vacancy. There is no vacancy. There's no cells that's vacant. There's no such thing as an empty penitentiary in America. All the prisons are full. Statistics show that white males, Caucasian males, commit more crimes, abundantly more, exponentially more crimes than black men, but black men get locked up way more than white men. You think that's just a trick? You think that's just a mistake? You think that's just what was the brothers in the wrong place at the wrong time and the white boy got the perfect getaway? No, they got the skin for the protection. They got the complexion for the connection and the protection. That's what it is. You feel me? That's why this thing of ours, this melanic, melanated black thing of ours is sacred, bro. I don't care how y'all feel about it. By the way, hands off Carmelo Anthony. We gonna get to that a little bit later. Said 100 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. Even a lot of your public figures, rappers going to prison. Why did they lock up Wesley? Some goods was stolen, some drugs was sold, some firearms. It ain't got to be none of that. You see what I'm saying? Done with you, they discarded you. White supremacy break its toys when they through. Don't ever forget that. While you trying to make it in this capitalist world, and those of you that are pursuing careers in this quote unquote industry, yeah, just know that you have to be more industrial than human. You have to look at everything like a product and yourself as a producer. Everybody and everything is a product. Industrialism, over a healthy mentality, over a healthy, balanced emotional state, over heightened spirituality. That's what the industry produces. It makes you move and think like a robot. And all of the consumers consuming this GMO culture, this GMO entertainment, you can see the reflection in them. You can see that the plan and the tricks of the enemy, the politics and the technology of our enemy has been working quite effectively. You can see it. Because even though Bone Thugs and Harmony was out here, you know, they tried to keep it positive. They come from the hood in Cleveland. They come from where I come from. It's hard in the city, bro. That's one of them rough places. You don't go to Cleveland to go on vacation, bro. If you know, you know. My city ain't the kicking spot. If you know, you know. Ohio as a whole, but in particular 216, oh no, don't get it twisted the game. We know the narrative they gave, but if you know the back door, you know the back door. That's really though. Let me pause for a cause, get a little bit of water, you feel me? So yeah. Why am I shouting out Crazy Bone? Because Crazy Bone, yeah, it looked like we having some technical difficulties, which is unfortunate because this message is potent. But don't worry, we gonna do a part 3. So whatever y'all don't watch, whatever you see, whatever you don't catch, because I'm gonna watch the playback. We coming back in August for part 3. Last month I did part 1. This is the second installment. Next month, around the time the children are going back to school, you know, that school to prison pipeline, I'll be dropping part 3. So all the small hats, get ready to get in your hater bag again. Just know you cannot stop the sun from shining. That's why this light be glowing on me every week. I am that Lion in Judah. That's why this portrait is behind me. Everything is symbolic. Everything is a message. And it shall be delivered in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. So moving forward, like I said, inshallah, y'all can see me, y'all can hear me, but y'all know what a hater's job is to do. It's to hate. And y'all know what my job is to do. It's to be great. Allahu Akbar, for Allah is most great. If you know, you know. But yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony rapping about selling drugs, killing other black men, you know, running around, doing all type of, you know, nefarious activities, playing with Ouija boards, Dear Mr. Ouija and Mo Murder, all of that, which is legendary classic shit. But was that what they wanted to do? Or is that what them record label executives and them small hat people told them to do? Because I'm in my big schlong bag. You feel me? That's why they don't like me. Really though. But Crazy Bone went from leading Bone Thugs and Harmony, you know what I'm saying, leading the charge for their cause, to years later coming out and exposing this conversation I'm speaking about. Mind you, the first one to speak about it, assalamu alaikum to my beloved spiritual father, the super dad for Black America, the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He the one that told you that there was a conversation between the government, the prison owners, and the record labels, and it was a real conspiracy, no theory, actual factuals, this is documented, to destroy Black male youth in particular, to destroy Black and brown youth in particular, to use this cultural icon known as hip-hop as a weapon to destroy the poor masses, period. Not just in America, but abroad, throughout the world, and expose what he knows. We having technical difficulties, folks. I really don't want to wrap this up and cut it too short. You know what I'm saying? But I see that they gonna hate. They not trying to let us be great. But they ain't gonna stop us though. Make sure you donate. You know what I'm saying? If you want to support a good cause, you see what it is. You see what it is. You feel me? 216.278.8281. ION. First name Errion. Last name T-Y-R-E-E. Errion Tyree. You can find me on Zelle. Mr. Muta Ali, as I'm affectionately known as in these streets. Anyway, back to the message. Tell them block that. You can't block these donations. See, they mad because I'm not letting them get $3 out of every, you know what I'm saying, $10 donation. No, I want all my money. You ain't helped me think of this shit. You ain't helped me come up with this content. Why am I breaking bread with you? Fool. Go find you something to do. You know what I'm saying? Or keep hating, because that's all y'all really good at doing. Hating and stealing other people's shit and then putting your barcode on it. Goofball. So anyway, like I said, shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony. Shout out to Bone, shout out to Busy Bone, because when Busy say a lot of this shit, you know, they write him off as crazy. You know what I'm saying? But when Crazy said it, people took him a little more serious. Immediately after that, he got sick, terminally ill, almost lost his life. Now, how ironic is that? That when he decided after all these years to expose what the industry made him and his partners do. Emphasis on made them do. Because you ain't going to be on that big stage unless you do it they way. Suddenly he gets sick. Huh? So yeah, this is the vibes. This is how we go. The difference between prison reform and what I represent, anti-recidivism, prison reform want to make the inmates more comfortable in prison. Prison reform wants to make it to where even though crime is on the decrease, occupancy of the prisons is on the increase. That's prison reform. Prison reform isn't a penal system reform. That's what we need. We need to reform the penal system in its entirety as a whole. That's what we need to do. That's what they're not willing to do. You see what I'm saying? Prison reform is, oh yeah, we gonna put a rapper, you know, on the stage. He gonna be the voice for the inmates. He gonna be the voice for the brothers and sisters in the hood, right? But he's not gonna have no power to affect nothing. He can't go beyond the metric that we have go of your knowledge also prescribes the circumference of your activity, according to the most Elijah Muhammad and the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So that's what they doing. Now, what do we do as those that's about prison reform? What we do is we catch people on their way to prison and try our best, do our due diligence, do our damnedest duty to try to keep young brothers and sisters from becoming incarcerated. We the ones out here spreading the knowledge. More and more black women and and brown women are getting criminally charged and becoming incarcerated. You see what I'm saying? Whether it's violent offenses or not. It was a time where it was just the black man. Now it's all the women too. Yeah, you get a number 2. This is business. This is big business. This has nothing to do with right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? This has nothing to do with rehabilitation. Because if that was the case, they would have rehabilitation for my people the same way they have it for their people. But we know they don't. You know what I'm saying? Anti-recidivism is when brothers and sisters are released, we give them knowledge of self. We give them opportunity. You know what I mean? We give them the space to really heal, because when you're incarcerated, you can easily become institutionalized. And once you're institutionalized, it feels like being behind them walls is where you belong. The prison's starting to feel like home. And if you're not locked up, then you don't feel comfortable. So we catch them on the way out and we tell them, no, you better than that. You greater than that. You're a reflection of the Most High. Monetary opportunities, financial literacy, counseling, you know what I mean? For youth and adults. Mentoring young people, you know what I'm saying? Teaching them the right foods to eat. Teaching them about GMO. Teaching them you are what you eat. You are what you think. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is what we teach the people. You know what I'm saying? We teach young people about the school to prison pipeline. We teach young people, hey, little man, by the time you in the 3rd grade, based on where you live at, based on if you got a daddy in the house, and based on your grades, they can determine whether or not you go into prison by the time you're in the 3rd grade. These folks know who go into prison. And they build more prisons based on their studies, based on the data they're gathering. Now, it's them that's manipulating the playing field. It's them that's corrupting and distorting the data, but they don't care about that. They care about the bottom line. They care about them dollar signs, and I ain't talking about the black dollar. I'm talking about this fiat currency that represents white supremacy as we know it. Salam alaikum, me. Love you more, easy. You feel me? I do this for him, because my son ain't gonna be a product of your goddamn school to prison pipeline. Big Mutali went through that, so little Mutali won't have to. Be it the will of Allah, and I'm quite sure Allah is more than willing. I put my life on it. You feel me? I've been to prison. I know what I'm talking about. And I study thoroughly. I'm very astute and studious when it comes to getting the knowledge of self and getting the knowledge of anything else which surrounds me. So yeah, when I came home from prison, I came home 100 miles an hour because I knew, Errion, if you could survive that, you could survive anything. And I've been making it happen ever since. You know what I'm saying? Spearheading nonprofit organizations, street teams, after-school mentoring programs, providing a curriculum, being face-to-face with the Board of Education, putting them in their place, talking to the chief of police, talking to local councilmen, talking to the mayor in my city, Cleveland, Ohio. They know my name, my face, and my voice. Some of them know my phone number. Yeah, they know my son's name, face, and voice. That's how active I am. And I don't be dropping my son off like, yo, we need a babysitter. No, we don't need a damn thing. We don't need no babysitters. You feel me? I don't play babysitter. I'm the father. I hold it down. I hold the fort down. You feel me? I don't do special requests, but you feel me? If you put it in, I might sample it and do a remix or something. But in the nature of staying you'd be surprised. You know what I'm saying? You know the motto, we do everything from gothic to gospel. You know what I'm saying? But feel free to, you know what I'm saying, speak your speech and state your piece in the chat. But I'm going to get back to these all black original facts. You feel me? That's really though. Yeah, we hip to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't study their catalog, but I am hip to who you're talking about. But anyway, like I was saying, this is the ballpark that we playing in, folks. You know what I'm saying? Generationally. I remember when I was a little boy, they told my father and my uncles and my cousins, you know what I'm saying, and the OGs from that generation, Gen X, they called them super predators. They was calling my fathers and them super predators. So now we the sons are the ones they was calling super predators. You think they don't feel the same way about us that they felt about our fathers and our forefathers and our ancestors? This has been a war that's been going on since time immemorial. And now I came to let it be known. There is no such thing as prison reform. There is no such thing as prison reform, because if there was, they will be making reformation and reparations in regards to the fact that crime has gone down, violent crimes specifically. Violent crimes are not as high as they once were, but it's more prisoners than ever. If they really wanted prison reform, they would look at the fact that America has more inmates incarcerated than every other country on the planet combined. In the land of the free, you got all of these inmates. In the land of in the home of the brave, which is really the home of the slave. Trapped by the people that came from the Caucasoid caves, the Caucasus Mountains and all of that. Got their foot on our neck to this day. That's why I don't play with these people. I don't play with people from the dominant society, and I don't play with no coon Negro that want to play buffer for the dominant society. We ain't playing no games with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, real prison reform will be reconciling that reality. How are we the land of the free and the home of the brave, but got more people incarcerated than the rest of the planet? In a democracy, in a capitalist society. Yes, capitalism, all right. And the biggest monopoly they got is the penal system, the school to prison pipeline. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nothing new, ain't nothing changed. Now you can get a smartphone in jail. Now you can get tablets and iPads, and you can have a pen pal, and you could be on Facebook. It's people getting married in prison. People out here desperate as hell, can't find nobody that in the free world to talk to, so they done got them a prison pen pal. They got them a prison bae. And then be shocked when that shit don't go their way. See, they've made it part of the culture. They made it cool. Meanwhile, you got people coming from other countries to this country, committing all type of crimes, getting away with it. Some of them getting supported and backed by the government. And meanwhile, they like, bro, the prisons in America is like boot camp compared to where we came from. So they don't give a damn about getting incarcerated, and they know that the government ain't targeting them. The government is targeting me and those that look like me, and those that think like me, and those that speak like me, and those that walk, they talk the way I'm found doing so. You feel me? Oh yeah, I see you. Yeah. You on the vibes with the music. You know what I'm saying? You on the vibes. Like I said, we might sample that, but I can't play nobody else's music on my video. I'm not about to get flagged. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what's up though. And it's good to keep a diverse taste in music and all of that. So shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, real live. This how I go, Famino, Familia. You know what I'm saying? If they really wanted prison reform, then they would address these things. You want prison reform? Stop calling it the chow hall and call it the cafeteria. Stop calling it chow, bro. Are you feeding dogs and cats, or are you feeding men and women? Are you feeding cattle and chattel like in slavery, or are you feeding human beings? The Constitution say, according to the amendments, 13, 14, 15, yeah, slavery is abolished. They've been emancipated, which does not mean freed, because emancipation, liberation, and freedom are three different words with three different definitions. If you know, you know. If not, you Google everything else. Take some time to Google that. Those words are not interchangeable, although ignoramuses love to say it, you know, being imbecile-like. But those are three different words with three different contextual definitions. Really, though. But according to the Constitution, soon as you catch a felony, you're reduced back to plantation status. If you're a black man, you're reduced back to a slave. They already called you 3/5 of a human being. So the penal system is set up to keep niggas in check. It is not about right or wrong. It is not about rehabilitation, which is why we are standing firmly on the square of anti-recidivism. We are catching young people, grown people before they get locked up and say, hey man, you on the wrong path. Some of us have been there, some of us have not. So if you need somebody that's more proper and professional, and we got people like that that'll talk to you. And if you need somebody with some roughness around your edges like me, then you can look into the eyes of a black man who been there, because I've been there. Alhamdulillah. God give me everything. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. You know I had to pause for that, right?
I want to say, all Irish friends, all friends around the world, because of you guys, this fight is happening. Thank you guys, and tomorrow night, inshallah, I am still. Thank you, sir.
Every time that come on the live, I'm gonna have to pause for the call, take me a water break, let these words marinate and all of that. Because we living in the time, we living in that era. And by the way, this is the real scheme. The scheme and the plot is to make this whole world a prison. All of us that's trying to do the will of Allah, all of us that want for our brethren and sistren what we want for ourselves, you are persona non grata, not just in America, but worldwide. So anytime I hear brothers and sisters saying Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah, I gotta hold it down and represent. I gotta stand up, you feel me? It just is what it is. This is what I was born to do. Speak truth to power. From me to you. Wear wigs because they were imitating the Moors who had afros, and these Caucasian males couldn't grow afros. They used to take the teeth of the slaves and use them as dentures in their mouth and put wigs on their head so they could look like me. So their hair could look more coiled and coarse, curly. Why all them wigs had curls? It wasn't no straight hair wigs. They didn't look like AC/DC. Yeah, dude. No, them wigs had big curls. They were imitating the Moorish men who gave them the game on how to establish this sovereign nation which is taking over the world. And then what did they do? They turned around and said, we're going to enslave and imprison and indoctrinate this same group of people who are the chosen by Allah God. And then you look around and you wonder why your country is crumbling. Politics is failing. Justice has fallen in the streets. And if it ain't justice, there shall be no peace. In the words of Jason Black, either we going to be equally comfortable or we can be equally uncomfortable. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. You feel me? But either way, Allah gonna make a way. And you can't stop once we pave the way. The trail that we blaze. You will not be found confining us or having us bound and confound to your trickery and your treachery. Nah, my people ain't going straight like that. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. You feel me? Help me spread this golden gospel. You know what I'm saying? From the house on the hills to the folks in the ghetto, they need to know what's going on, fam. I don't care if you in the trap house or the White House. I gives a damn. You know what I'm saying? You know the vibes. We standing with Iran, free Palestine, hands off Carmelo Anthony. You know the vibes. Shout out to Rodney Hinton Jr. because we about to become more modern and wrap this up. I'm trying to keep it under an hour or as close to it as possible. on this Sabbath day. Shalom to everybody that's keeping the Sabbath sacred. You know what I'm saying? To my Hebrew Israelites and all that. Peace, familia. But yeah, to become more modern and wrap this up, that's what it's about. And in the realm of anti-recidivism, we speak directly to the politicians. We speak directly to the wardens. We speak to the local city and county jails. Yeah, we speak to the schools. They call it a school to prison pipeline. That's why to the brothers out here that's out here trying to, fight for the community, that's what we should be doing. But don't ever leave your children behind trying to get applause from the community and feed the vanity of your ego while your children rot away. My prayers go out to the daughter of Umar Johnson and Umar, because I couldn't imagine traveling from Africa to Sweden back to America and my child is homeless. And I'm referring to a black man that know about the school to prison pipeline. He has taught a lot of you all about the school to prison pipeline. See, we was boots on the ground, and I'm like 15 years younger than the brother. When he first came out and, became popular as he is today. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed, who helped pave the way for that brother today. We was already outside. I was running around with the Nation of Islam. We were spearheading nonprofit organizations. The year my son was born, we birthed an organization that out of 100 rec centers in Cleveland, we're in damn near 10 of them. That means we got almost 10% of the recreation centers in Cleveland are the youth, because they can relate. They know when Mr. Ali come through, oh, it's finna do what it do, baby. They know that. They know I ain't sugarcoating nothing. They know I ain't pussyfooting or half-stepping. They know it ain't no cap in my rap. It's all fact, actual factuals. You know what I'm saying? We give them hope that they can really depend on. You know what I'm saying? We give them something they can truly believe in. We give them a healthy self-awareness and knowledge of self if they're lacking in that. We remind them of their greatness. Not great because we said so, but great because Allah placed the God particle in all of us, especially poor children in the ghetto who are behind the 8 ball and don't even have a fair chance like other cultures in the dominant society. A lot of these people that's around me that I live, because I moved my son out the hood of Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? We live about an hour or a little less than an hour outside of Cleveland. But it be a lot of privileged people, a lot of entitled people that I know. You ain't come from the struggle like we did. You feel me? I just moved away from a lot of the riffraff because I wanted my son to have a fighting chance. I wanted him to have some diversity, you know what I'm saying, and to know how to deal with different settings and people from all walks of life. He's a black male child. He's a black man child. He is a Muslim, a product of Elijah Muhammad, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings. You got what's up. You see what I'm saying? We go to the churches, black churches predominantly. We go to the kingdom halls. We go to the Masonic lodges. We go to the mosques and the masjids. We was there in my city when they took the life of Tamir Rice. We was there. Huh? We was there. Shout out to his brother and his sister. My heart still grieves and bleeds and pains for you. I pray for you. Shout out to Samaria Rice. You feel me? The mother of Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old young black boy who lost his life to police brutality because he was playing with a water gun. 12 years old. The modern day Emmett Till lost his life in my city. Emmett Till was 14. Tamir Rice was 12. Do the math on it. Imagine watching this 12-year-old boy get his life snuffed out while your baby is growing in the womb of his mother and you sitting there watching this, praying that your child don't come into this world and fall victim to that shit. And then you think you about to play with me about the black experience? I'm not your nigga. I'm not your convict. I'm bigger than the ex-con. I'm bigger than a hooligan, a hoodlum, or a miscreant. It ain't a prison number big enough that could define or defy me. And I've been to prison, 604-645. I was released in 2012. It's 2025. What's that, 13 years? You see, I still remember the number. I'll never forget it. And you can look it up because it's public record anyway. You can see where I come from. You can see what I've been through. And you can see what qualifies me to speak truth to you on this day. That's really dope. So yeah, man, we about 55 minutes in, roughly. About to be 55 minutes and 55 seconds. I'm gonna begin to wrap this up. But let's become more modern, because they want you to they'd rather you be a victim like Tamir Rice than to stand up for your rights like a Rodney Hinton Jr. Because if you shoot my dog, I'm gonna kill your cat. Know that. They don't want you crashing out like Rodney Hinton Jr. They want you holding picket signs and we shall overcome. They want that. They want a bunch of old Negro spirituals and we shall overcome and all that foolishness. That's what they want black people to do. They don't want black folks standing on business the way Allah instructed us to. That's why we gotta light the torch and lead the way and pave the way for my people, for we are living in Judgment Day. Don't think you're gonna die and get judged. We here now. They'd rather you be like the victims of Dylan Roof than to stand up and defend your life like Carmelo Anthony. Hands off Carmelo, touch me and see what happens. I'm not your nigga. And by the way, we praying and we have faith that Carmelo Anthony will be acquitted. And if he's not acquitted of all charges, he ain't gonna get sat down like them people hoping he gets sat down. And even if they did manipulate the law, it wouldn't be the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last. But we gonna be fighting for that brother till it's over. Protect his family, protect everybody that's valuable and vital to that situation. Most importantly, protect that young man. Because come to find out, the perpetrator who lost his life and was trying to bully this young man, the autopsy came out. The young man, what's his name? Austin. He had fentanyl in his system. Fentanyl, steroids. He's a jiu-jitsu specialist. Him and his brother. They're over 6 feet tall, over 200 pounds. Carmelo Anthony ain't 6 foot nothing, don't even weigh 200. And by the way, the weapon that was used, it wasn't a knife. He had a tool that has a fingernail file, a screwdriver, a bottle opener. Some of y'all have it on your keychain. And he used it to defend his life. After he poked the young man in the chest, Austin didn't fall down and die. They ran, and Carmelo ran the other way. The boy Austin's twin brother and others chased Carmelo, meaning you left your brother. That's a crime. State-wise and federal-wise. You don't leave a victim, quote unquote, to chase the assailant. It's literally a crime. And if it would have been 2 black boys with dreadlocks and muscles from their eyebrows to their toenails that jumped on a white boy, and the white boy would have stabbed one of them and they would have lost their life, it wouldn't be all this outrage. It would have been Tuesday. It would have been, nigger, what are you doing under this tent at this football game? It wouldn't have been no mercy and no sympathy for the young brothers that lost their life. So that's what I'm saying. They'd rather you be a victim than a victor. But we taught in the streets, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. If you know, you know. We'd have been to too many funerals. How many of us had to go to prison and see our fathers behind that glass? Our father ain't even get to see us grow up. That wasn't my personal situation. Shout out to my dad, because we dads around here. My dad has his dad, I got my dad, and my son got his dad. And inshallah, I'm here as a grandfather when he begins to copulate and procreate and cohabitate with a sister that I pray he find him a God-fearing sister. Because if the woman will defy God, my brother, she damn sure gonna defy you. That's another conversation for another day. Anywho and anyway, know the vibes and know the count, because they'd rather you get the Emmett Till special or the Tamir Rice special. But if you have the audacity to stand up boldly and fight for your life and fight for your God-given sovereign rights of humanity, they gonna try to lock you away and throw away the key. They gonna try to lock you up and throw away the key. They hoping that brothers like Rodney Hinton Jr. get buried under the cell. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, they out here talking about free Diddy and pouring baby oil all over themselves. What type of foolish men have y'all subscribed to when we really are in the fight of our life? Not just domestically, but as far as foreign policy. Get it not confused nor misconstrued. You feel me? So yeah, I could go on and on and on, as y'all know, but we gonna begin to wrap this up. The real fight, if they really want to be on the right side of history, tell them stop that prison reform talk, because it's garbage. The only thing you can do is try to adjust the penal system. And to all of those that say, oh man, the system is broken. The system has expired. The system is doing exactly what they designed it to do. Lock my black ass up. That's all the system was ever designed to do. Keep the black man down. Utilize all of their strengths, meaning the dominant society utilize all our strength. Siphon their energy, be parasitic. It's a parasitical relationship, parasitic. You see what I'm saying? Use their energy to build a utopia for us. They building heaven on earth for themselves off our blood, sweat, and tears, and telling niggas, you gotta wait till you die to go to heaven. Nah, bruh. Thy kingdom come, thy will shall be done on earth as it is in heaven. Allah says, for behold, I make all things new. But he also said, I am God and I change not. The Alpha and the Omega. So he saw this. He saw that the enemy was going to come, capture our people, pillage the village, destroy our people. Just so he could perform the miracle that he promised to Abraham in the Old Testament. And we are living in that day today. You got inmates escaping prison. Number one is chickens coming home to roost. Number two is people from the inside, it's the COs, because you ain't breaking out of no prison without a CO helping you. I don't care what you're talking about. You got female COs in there. They got prison bay too. You feel me? They got their penitentiary boo thing too. In fact, that's why they work there. I'm telling you from experience. I've been locked up. You feel me? And by the way, if you're an inmate and you're able to get a female correctional officer to be intimate with you, in your mind, you thinking, shit, I could survive this. I could have me a whole wife in here. Female CO. She gonna sneak away to put money on your books, all types of shit. You see what I'm saying? So if they really wanted to reform prison, they would make the women work in the women prison, and they would make the men work in the male prisons. Same with the female prisons. You got female inmates getting impregnated by male COs. You have people who were born as male, but they identify as a female. They're going to the female penitentiary because this is the law, you know. This is the law today. In a lawless society, they playing in God's face. this transgender or whatever the terminology is, this person who was born as a man but identifies as a woman, they go to a female prison and then start impregnating the female inmates. You want to stop prison reform? I think you just want a bigger bag. I think you just want to see more black people die. I think you just want to see us lose our lives be destroyed. You see what I'm saying? For us to lose sight and go blind. Instead of us praising our Lord, for us to bow down to you like you to God. That's what I think you want, but you're going to fail in your attempts and in your efforts to pull us down, because remember this, you cannot keep anybody in a hole unless you're willing to stay in the hole with them. So you got to jump your dumb ass in the hole to hold me down in the hole that you dug for me. Are you kidding me? Be careful about digging graves for your enemies, because it might be that you digging a grave for yourself. Better stop digging my grave before you fall in. Miss the fourth quarter, game 7 straight balling. I come from that school. And we gonna continue to stand on anti-recidivism. I'm the face of anti-recidivism in my city, in my county, in my state. Really throughout the Midwest, period. But I'm gonna just keep it to Cleveland, Ohio. Because you could go in the streets and ask them about me. You could go on your internet and type in your search engine, and all of this is verifiable. It's all gonna pop up. Just like my criminal background gonna pop up. Just like every altercation I ever had with law enforcement is gonna pop up. Straight like that. And I ain't backing down from nothing. I ain't turning out nothing but my collar. We live for the fame. My pops was a barber. Don't get it confused. You feel me? So I don't know if they gonna try to blackball and outlaw this video. You know, we are the real shadow band. We are the shadow that they trying to ban. You feel me? And by the way, I'm gonna say this before we wrap up. When you think of prison reform, think of Desiree Perez in this. You know, Desiree Perez, like myself, is an ex-con. Desiree Perez has been to the penitentiary. She came out, and instead of trying to be an anti-recidivist, she said she's going to go the corrupt corporate America route, and she got implemented in now what they call prison reform. What did her daughter say about her? What's going on with the Tory Lanez case? See, it's the difference between us and them. NBA young boy, he just glad to be out of prison. These guys that Donald Trump is pardoning, man, they don't want no problems. Just what you want me to rap about? Oh, you want me to paint my fingernails? This is the type of foolishness they got going on. They out here talking about they big steppers and to shoot a black man, but they paint their fingernails, wear purses, wear skirts, and do the bunny hop for the small hats and the Caucasian. But you come around other black men with your illustrious police security and you be acting tough as you know what. I'm trying not to cuss because I want men, women, and children to be able to see this video. But I got videos where I don't be cussing and they still don't make it applicable or accessible for the youth. So I guess we'll see. But regardless of whom or what, the truth shall be told and not sold. See, I grew up under an era where they was like, oh, bruh, the game is to be sold, not told. You know what I'm saying? When you know more, you say less. The game is to be sold and not told, and all that slick shit. No, truth be told, not sold. If you ain't tapped in, we got mixtape 1, 2, and 3. Truth be told, not sold. Part 1 came out in 2014. I'm fresh out of prison. First album I made since I started studying and practicing Islam as a new Shahada, studying with the Nation of Islam, following Minister Farrakhan in spirit and in truth. Yeah, truth be told, not sold part 2. I'm holding my son on the album cover. He only 1 year old. Now my son is drawing the artwork for my up and coming projects. Don't get it confused. See, this is what being a real father do. It went from me holding my son on my album cover. Only album cover where I'm smiling is the one where I'm holding Isaiah Mutali. I ain't never smiled on an album cover like I ain't never smiled in a mug shot. But I was so gleeful holding my baby at the time, who was 1 year old, I couldn't help but smile. Truth be told, Not Sold Part 3 dropped in 2018. So I've been on this mission, bruh. This ain't about no money, bruh. This is about the black dollar, and the galvanizing of it. You know what I'm saying? The application and the exercise, the group economics. This is about really supporting and investing in black business, black youth, black future. And you got to know the past to maximize the moment in the present and to know where you headed tomorrow. So yeah, it's more I could say, but it's always part 3. The parts that I said in the beginning, inshallah, is clear. Inshallah, God willing, it ain't too much glitching and all of that. But you know the vibes and the count. You feel me? So yeah, just to touch bases, we represent anti-recidivism. This is not prison reform. This ET, this ain't Meek Mill. And no disrespect to that brother, but yo, y'all got some sugar in the tank and a faulty engine under the hood, bro. It's looking mighty suspect, bro. You know what I'm saying? They out here super tough. They super thuggy. They gangsta boogie, gangsta-licious, gangsta something. But then you get up on that panel and you get to crying in front of white folks. Bro, I ain't crying in front of white folks, black folks, young people. I don't cry in the dark, bro. Wallahi, you looking in my eyes, I don't even hardly blink. Where the water gonna come from? I stare through your soul. I will look dead in your eyes for an hour straight without blinking. Without mumbling, fumbling, or stuttering, or staggering over my words, bruh. Why? Because I stand in the face of recidivism as the top anti-recidivist. To hell with your favorite rapper, to hell with a red carpet, to hell with a Grammy, to hell with a Super Bowl, to hell with the Olympics, to hell with all of that. I represent anti-recidivism. I want to prevent young people from getting locked up, and for the people that have been locked up, I want to stand as the buffer. You know how they set a screen in basketball? You set the screen so the defense run into you and then the offense can score, whether they swish or whether they slam dunk that joint. That's me. Let's ball out on the enemy, bruh. Because one day, we all gonna die anyway. You gonna lose your life anyway. So let's be found sacrificing for that which is actually beneficial instead of sacrilegious. Know your enemy and blasphemy. No blasphemy. You feel me? I'm on some of that. So if you know what I'm saying? It's always part 3. It's always next week. It gets greater later, like I always say. Do not get it confused nor misconstrued in what I'm saying to you. And I pray that it's audible and visible and clear enough that you get the message. You know what I'm saying? I pray that you learn the lesson and catch the blessing. Because I drop Jews on these new school fools on YouTube. I'm too street for IG. I'm too hood for Facebook. My nigga, I don't go back and forth on Twitter. I am not TikTok. I am real hip-hop. Real hip-hop. Before the school to prison pipeline. Real hip-hop. Before the privatized prisons. Real hip-hop. When it was consciousness over capitalism. Way before niggas was running around talking about they was woke. Real hip-hop. Before the gangster rap. Real hip-hop. HIP, HOP. Higher infinite power healing our people. One more time. HIP, HOP. Higher infinite power healing our people. That's why they had to sink their teeth and their fangs into it. They claws and their fangs into the culture. Because we was making too much progress. And they knew that because we was the people that came from poverty, Since we came from poverty, we would sell out the culture to get some prosperity, to make a profit, to get a bag. But I'm like the angels in the scriptures. I'm not interested in silver nor gold. My only desire is to lay the enemy low. And that's what we gonna do, and that's really though. So don't get it twisted. Don't get tricked off the streets. Worshiping a false image. Walking down the path that they done set for you, with it's a trap at the end of that tunnel. Follow the road that got a light at the end of the tunnel, because that's where we go. What is rap? Rhythm and poetry. Let's put the real consciousness, not this woke shit, real consciousness back into the music, back into the culture. Don't be hashtag woke, familia. Be wide awake and aware, because your enemy don't sleep. Granny used to say, child, the devil is busy. And these niggas sitting around ain't got a clue, nothing to do. Wondering why they getting treated like food. Nah, I eat what I want off the menu. Trust me, the apex predator said, before you eat me, and this to the enemy, I'ma eat you. And I ain't talking on no Jeffrey Dahmer type shit, bro. Really though, apex predators in the building. What is an alpha male to an apex predator? Don't get it twisted. I'm not on that goofiness that these rappers talk about prison reform. We out here saving the youth for real. Building bridges so my people could get over safely to the other side for real. And that's what I'm gonna be doing until the law say, job well done, my son. Job well done, my servant. You deserve it. Come home. And on that note, I'm gone. Anti-recidivism over prison reform. This is part 2. We did part 1 in June, part 2 in July, because you know them Jews lie, huh? And then part 3 gonna come in August around the time they going back to school. Be the real educator in your children's life. Don't leave them under the bondage and tutelage of white folks to miseducate them and give them an inferiority complex so they become tomorrow's prison inmates. Huh? Because once you get caught in that system, it can be very hard to find your way back. It's hard enough if you ain't got a criminal record. So please, black men, let's stand up. Black women, don't be an obstruction. Be a help meet, not a help mate, not a whore or a whoremonger. Be a help meet, because that's what God told your ass to do. That ain't what I told you to do. Men love whores. God told you to be better. So if you don't like me, maybe you love him enough to do the right thing. And I think we gonna leave it at that. It's gonna always be anti-recidivism over prison reform. If you know, you know. If you don't, stay tuned. You feel me? So yeah, we gonna get ready to go. I got very much to do, very little to say, and I think I've said enough for the day. But before we do, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to pull it up. Oh, yeah, by the way, y'all know it's about to be Take Your Head Off Tuesday this Tuesday, right? Every other Tuesday. So we ain't dropped last week. We ain't dropped nothing last week. You know what I'm saying? But we dropping this Tuesday. It's going to be called The Midwest Godfather 1.0. 2.0 is going to be on the new album coming December 9th, inshallah. The E.T.I.Lee tape 2.0. I'm going to release the official title soon enough. But in the meantime, wait for it, because I'm preparing to be most great for it. And you know that. So before we go, I'm gonna play that Razor's Edge one more time. You feel me? You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody who supported that joint, who liked, you know what I'm saying, who shared, everybody that subscribed and encouraging others to do so. Because you already know, I am the shadow that they tried to ban. What the f do you think I'm wearing black for? Huh? Black is not local. Black is not regional. Black is not national. Black is not global. Black is universal. Huh? And I am the intergalactic E.T.I.Lee. Big Muta-Ali, God Body MC. Don't get it confused or misconstrued, or I might have to go across your head with that Razor's Edge. You heard what I said. Mm-hmm. Big bravado, I'm oozing with my cheese. Face of the public and the voice of the people. I don't feel no evil, you rap
rappers, it's not a threat. To these ladies, I'm a pet, but I'm a man's worst regret. On this beach, I'm catching wreck. The collision is recreation. Women screaming like Sherry, they say I'm sensational. Murder any rapper that you pick, I'm more than capable. Rappers scared to bite me, cause they know that I'm a saber tooth. Baby, it's the bad guy. Rest in peace of Sky Hall. Right hand is orthodox, but I buy Southpaw. Feeling like Pop. And my brothers is the outlaws. Better yet, the outsiders. This ain't about no cloud, dog. Oh, no. You gon' make me test your whole jaw. Realist in the building, bitch. Don't make me pull your whole card. Satchmo going so hard. I don't see nobody but their bodies on the boulevard. Baby, wishing that they hoodie ball. Bully in a black hoodie, I don't fear none of y'all. I could catch a jug in your hood with no gun at all. On my Royal Rumble shit, I'm looking like who wanna bro. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. They can't knock me up my pivot, they can't break my focus. They know forest underground Errion this most shit. They know I'm the light, that's why they scattering like roaches. They know playing with me like playing with high explosives. They know that my train of thought is like a locomotive. Smoking when I wrote this shit, it's your favorite bad guy. Pistol on your temple, make you raise both hands high. In my hood, they shaking dreadlocks and got they rash tie. 800-pound gorilla niggas want my hands tied. Ripping heads off 100 men, I love my chances, bruh. They be asking questions cause they know I got the answers, bruh. It's a little boy, I'm standing up, so I'm standing up. Ladies come around me, it be hard to keep their panties up. Really though, that's how the story ends. 36 bars on this beat, pretty coursing. It's a bad guy, certified monster. I don't need a label or a corporate sponsor. Walking through the streets with a boxer's posture. Black Dollaar holla, got it locked like lockers. On my new world order vibes, wearing all black. Grand slam on the track, they thought I had a ball back. Say goodnight to the bad guy, you heard what I said. You gon' make me go across your head with this razor's edge. It's a bad guy, certified monster. I don't need a label or a corporate sponsor. Walking through the streets with a boxer's posture. Black Dollaar holla, got it locked like lockers. On my new world order vibes, wearing all black. Grand slam on the track, they thought I had a ball back. Say goodnight to the bad guy. You heard what I said, you gon' make me go across your head. It's that razor's edge. We can talk business, but don't bring in. Really don't house to that lobby. Brings to that weed, packs to that weed, bottles of that bread. Check for a wire, he smell kinda. I say we can talk business, but don't bring pennies. Pounds of that Bobby, bricks of that Whitney, packs of that Justin, bottles of that Britney. Check for a wire, man, he smell kinda fishy. Black Dollaar, rest in peace, Razor Ramon. Get it out. Y'all know the vibes, y'all know the count. We gonna leave it right there straight like that till next week. Next week we gonna drop some, you know what I'm saying, some album cuts, inshallah, at the end of the video. You feel me? Because you know I'm in album mode. I only got 4 more songs to go, and then we straight to the studio. Anybody that know my process, bro, I be recording whole albums in a day. I get in my bag, I cook it up, I go to the stew, you already know what it do. Gangsta gumbo from me to you. You know what I'm saying? That ghetto golden gospel. You know what I'm saying? Tried and true, like only E.T. Ali could do. So I appreciate you for tuning in with me and indulging in these superior facts. Anti-recidivism over prison reform and all that. They call me Mr. Mutali, a.k.a. Big Mutali, b.k.a. E.T. Ali, Errion Ali, God Body MC, 216, Kaya Slaughter Counter, Kinsman County, up the way, USA, K-I-N-G. And we gonna leave it right there, straight like that, straight like that. Shalom to those that's keeping the Sabbath sacred and all that. Assalamu alaikum, marahmatullah here, barakatuh. Black Dollaar. Hang.